Hi everyone, this is Michael with Bad Goblin Games here with another demo for Ages of Conflict. So this is a sci-fi demo, so we'll be doing I guess I should say strictly a sci-fi game here. Now, some of you may see and recognize right off the bat what this is. This is really, I'm just going to call it like it is. This is we're basically recreating or fighting the Battle of Hoth from Empire Strikes Back. We are obviously in no way affiliated with, Disney or Lucasfilm or what have you, so don't ask or expect to see anything Star Wars related in any of our material. This is strictly something we're doing. We do privately, so you will see nothing Star Wars related in anything we provide. A couple of things here before we jump into the game. This is a game that when we play it, or a scenario when we play, we're usually playing on a much larger surface. So for this demo, I'm just using a 4x4 table simply because it's easier to manage a solo demo game on a 4x4 table. Though this scenario really is one that should be played on a 6x4 or even an 8x4 table. So for that purposes, I've done a few things to kind of compensate here. One is I've just scaled down the number of units in the game. So if we look over here for the Imperial side, we can see there's 3 AT-ATs and we have 3 AT-STs. And typically we would use 6, say AT-ATs and AT-STs. So for this demo, just because of the size of the board, I'm just going down to 3 of each. And then for the Alliance or the good guys or the bad guys, whatever your perspective is, this is scaled down as well. So we have fewer trenches. Usually we have 2 or 3 layers of trenches here. For this, I'm just using 1 layer. Fewer troops, fewer turrets, and only, say, 3 squadrons of the speeders rather than, I think we use 5 or 6. So all around, just a much smaller engagement. And also because of the size of the board, I'm reducing, just for this demo, I'm basically cutting the ranges of the weapons in half. So for this demo, what we usually do, or for this scenario, it's an objective-based game. Obviously, so if you're familiar with this battle from Empire Strikes Back, the rebels know they're really outgunned, they're outclassed in this battle. I mean, it's extremely difficult to bring down one of those AT-ATs. And so all the rebels are really trying to do is buy time so that the majority of their forces can escape. So this isn't a battle they're really going to straight out win. Every time we've done this scenario, the rebels have only managed to bring down 1 AT-AT. In every game, they brought down 1 AT-AT, and they may have kind of stalled out 1 or 2 more that they've actually only brought down, like taken out of the fight, 1 AT-AT every time we've done this scenario. Now, so the win objective here is for the Empire. They basically have a limited number of turns to destroy the power generator back here. In this case, we're going to go with 5. We try to kind of measure it out so that they have just enough turns. The Empire does. They have just enough turns to destroy the generator. So hopefully I have everything measured out correctly. So basically on the 5th turn, they should be right there and have the ability to destroy the generator. So there's very little room for error on either side. And the win condition for the rebels is they just have to keep that power generator up and going to turn 6. If they do that, they win. So let's see how the game goes. We're going to get started with turn 1. Quickly before I do, there's a couple of things I intended to mention in the opening, and I just kind of kind of neglected to do so. So first off, the Sci-Fi Rules. So the purpose of Ages of Conflict, one of the main development purposes, is to allow you to fight these battles in different genres using the same set of rules, and even to mix the genres if you want to. So most of the development really has been towards, say, the historical and the fantasy, Black Powder, era. We've done a good amount of testing and work with sci-fi, though there are still a few things that we're still working on. So there's a decent chance that some of the stuff that you're going to see here today may change in the final version of the sci-fi supplement. Just a few things that we're just trying to work out, figure out what the best way to do it. So this is kind of a good situation. If you see some room for improvement or suggestions, please let us know. A couple things specific to each army that I forgot to bring up. With the rebels over here, at the moment we're treating their turrets basically as like fixed positions, so they're not really going to get activated in the traditional sense that we activate everything else. So we're not going to go through and flip their order token and activate them like we would the other units. They still shoot, obviously, though. Since we're probably going to treat them more as a fixed position rather than, say, an engine of war, we're probably not going to activate them with the same mechanic that we do other units. The speeders here, even though they are flying, we're not really treating them as traditional flyers. We're treating them more as hovering vehicles. So they don't get the, if you've watched some of the other videos where we have flying, we have the airborne and soaring ranges. We're not going to give that to these. They're basically hovering, so they're always at a point where they can interact in the battle. The AT-ATs, each AT-AT is carrying two basically stands of troopers here. You'll see, like if you look at the Alliance over here, the rebel guys, you'll see in the trenches, they're not lined up or they're not set up, the same way that they're not set up the same way we have other bases. So like if we look at this base of Civil War, you can see it's a big base and it's about 100 soldiers in here. So, that's basically what it represents anyway. But when we're doing sci-fi, it's that tactical unit size gets shrunk, and by default they're all skirmishing. So instead of having a base this size that's grouped together with 5 or 6 or 7 other bases, instead we have this one base that's now broken down into 4 smaller individual bases. All right, well, that's enough talking. Let's kind of get to the first turn. We'll roll initiative first. So again, what we're looking for are successes. And outside of combat, a success is typically a 6 or more. So we're looking for 6s or mores, 6 or mores, or s'mores if you're hungry. So the Alliance, we have a 9 and a 2, so that's 1 success. The Empire, we have a 10 and a 7, so that's 2 successes. So the Empire is going to go first. So I'm going to activate a unit. I'm just going to activate this AT-AT. I mean, there's not a whole lot of strategy here from the Empire guys. If you remember from the movie, they just marched up and tried to blow away everything they could that basically stood in their way. Now the AT-ATs are, they have an ability called slow, and that really just prevents them from moving at a charge pace. So their base move is 7, so with the march order they can go at their quick pace, which is double your move. Since their move is 7, that means they can go 14 centimeters. So he'll just kind of march on up. Then we'll activate a unit of speeders here. Now the speeders are, they have basically a fixed speed because they're not treated as being traditional flyers, but they kind of have flyers really have a fixed speed. So even though they're given charge orders, they're still going to go the same speed, basically regardless of whatever order you give them. Now we slowed them down dramatically for this scenario. I mean, if you scale their speed relative to everything else in the game, they do circles around everything in one turn. So we did kind of artificially scale it down quite a bit. So they're basically going to move at 30. So they're going to fly up here or zoom up here at a really high rate of speed. Now let's go back to our Empire. The ATSTs are quite a bit faster, and their kind of main goal here is to do some protection. For the AT-ATs. Let me go a bit further out. There you go. All right, that's all the snow speeders there. Let's do our other AT-AT here. So the AT-ATs don't really have a lot of time to waste. I mean, if I did my numbers correctly, which is highly questionable, then they're going to have just enough time to get up there and take a shot at that power generator. Now, the ATSTs, I only gave them march orders. I could have given them, charge. I don't want them too far from the AT-ATs. All right, the rebel guys at this point are pretty easy. All the troops are really, they're going to stay in the trench. They're not in a hurry to go running up here. So they all just have first missiles. First missiles and first missiles. And again, we're not actually flipping over the turrets to activate them. That could change, but I don't anticipate that changing too much. All right, so we did initiative, we did reveal orders and movement. Now we're going to go on to the combat phase. So combat consists of 4 phases. There's units that can fire on first missiles, the first missiles order, then those that can fire on march, then hand-to-hand, which we're really not going to see any hand-to-hand, and then we have units that can fire on second missiles. So when we do in sci-fi, one of the big differences is that at this point in warfare, and same thing in World War II, many of these units have what we call the independent weapon special ability. What that does is it separates the weapon from the vehicle. So like the AT-ATs, for example, they don't just have one person piloting them. There's somebody who's piloting the walker, and there's another person who's probably handling the weapons, and maybe someone else who's doing another duty. So it's not dependent upon one person. Same thing with the speeders here. So even though, for example, this walker has march orders, they are all equipped with heavy energy cannons, which require a second missile order to shoot. Though since they have independent weapon, that heavy energy cannon can shoot regardless of what order we give the walker. So, all right, let's go on to let's go ahead and start combat here. All right, so the Imperials have initiative, so they're going to act first in this first combat round. So we have none of the troopers on the board. They're all still within the AT-ATs. If it gets to the point where it looks like an AT-AT is going to go down, then then I'll make an effort to get the troops out of there before that happens, and hopefully we just don't kind of have a fluke where one is blown up before it happens. The possibility that is there, though it's really slight. So again, just for this demo, I am having all the range weapons. So to just kind of give you an example, the heavy energy cannons for these AT-ATs would typically have a range of 70 centimeters. So I am going to have that for this game down to 35. So and that's with all the weapons across the board. So every weapon that you see here is just for this demo. Because of the confined space I'm using, I'm just using half of the weapon's typical range. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and activate this AT-AT here first. There's not a lot of strategy here. They're just going to lumber up and try to withstand as much fire as they can and get in range of that energy generator way on the other side and just kind of blow it up. The ATSTs are just going to do their best to protect the AT-ATs. And then the snow speeders are just going to basically try to take down the AT-ATs. And we are trying to do trying to kind of simulate the tow cable thing. So they have to get in very close to the tow cables, and while the tow cables can't outright destroy an AT-AT, they have a little easier chance of actually damaging it or inflicting damage on it by virtue of the break tokens. So we'll see how that plays out. All right, so the AT-AT here. So it's just going to go ahead and shoot. It actually has two weapons it can shoot. They have light energy cannons and heavy energy cannons. The light energy cannon is capable of firing on first missiles. So even though it has a march order, it has an independent weapon for that light energy cannon. So it can still fire in the first missile phase, even though it can fire that light energy cannon in the first missile phase, even though we did not expressly give the AT-ATs first missile orders. So the light energy cannon has a range of 30 typically. Again, we're cutting that down in half. So you can see basically that they're all going to be out of range at the moment. And we're really going to see the same thing, I think, for everybody across the board, because the snow speeders also have, do we give them? Yeah, they have independent weapon with the light energy cannon, and yeah, they are just out of range of the ATSTs. So we're not actually going to have very little firing here on this first turn, except for actually the heavy energy cannons. The heavy energy cannon. So basically at this point, I guess what I'm saying is anything that has first missile capability, they're just out of range. The turrets here they're also out of range. So the AT-ATs with their heavy energy cannons that can fire on second missiles can go now. And since we're having the range, they'll have a range of 35. So they can actually shoot at the snow speeders. And the snow speeders aren't going to hold up too well to this fire. So the snow speeders, they have a base defense of 4. That means their defense cannot be reduced lower than 4, regardless of how much armor piercing the AT-ATs have. The snow speeder defense cannot be reduced below 4. We're just doing that to try to simulate the maneuverability and the speed of the speeders. So the AT-ATs, we're just going to kind of go down the line and shoot at a snow speeder. They roll 3 dice plus 1 at this range, so they're rolling 4 dice. The heavy energy cannons, again, they just annihilate armor. So all the snow speeders we're just basically trying to go to their trying to defeat their base defense. So I just need 4s here. And there's a 10. Again, anytime you roll a 10, that's an automatic critical. So we're going to place 1 breakpoint on that unit automatically just because I rolled the 10. The snow speeders are not particularly tough. I mean, they're not built to take a lot of fire. So they're only rolling 2 dice for their casualty check. And the casualty check number I need here is 5 plus the number of successes that the AT-AT rolled when it shot. I got 4 successes. That means I need a 9 on the casualty check. So at least one of these needs to be a 9. And there we go. I rolled a 1 and a 9. So the 1 obviously doesn't matter because all I needed was one of the dice to be a 9 or more. So they succeeded. So we'll have this AT-AT shoot. That's not a very good roll. Only 2 successes that time with a 6 and a 7. So I only need a 7 on my casualty check. And that one I failed. Of course, the easier one I fail. That's my life of rolling. So I rolled a 6 and a 1. Now every weapon has a kill number associated with it. The more lethal the weapon, the higher the kill number. So for example, if we're fighting an Ancients battle, at long range, say warbows have a kill number of 0, which means at long range they can't actually outright cause a casualty. At short range, they have a kill number of 1. In hand combat, most of your hand combat weapons are going to have a kill number of 2. These heavy energy cannons have a kill number of 4. So that means if a unit fails a casualty check and at least one of the dice equals the kill number or less, then the unit doesn't receive a break token. Instead, it's an outright casualty. So in this case, I rolled a 6 and a 1. Since the kill number for the heavy energy cannon is a 4, that means one of the snow speeders is blown away. And this looks like the Red Company or whatever they call themselves. Maybe I think Luke was in there, so maybe that was Luke that just got blown up. We'll see. All right, so the last AT-AT over here, same thing. It's going to shoot over here. We have 4 successes. So my casualty check number here is a 9. And I got a 10, so that is a success. And that's really going to be it for that turn. Everything else is going to be out of... Well, let me just double check the ATSTs. Yeah, they have light. Okay, yeah, everything is out of range. Okay. One thing I didn't mention, if you look at I'm not sure how well it really shows up. If you look at the ATST, I'm sorry, the snow speeders, they all have little color codes on them, just little dots of paint. We just did that so we could easily tell what squadron each speeder belongs to. Because once they kind of get tangled up in combat here, they all look the same, obviously. And since they all pretty much act under one order, we give them little color codes. That way we know, say when we activate, the yellow or gold squadron, whatever that is over here, we know which ones are actually acting at that point. All right, so that's it for combat. We're going to go to the end phase at this point. One of the things we do in the end phase is units that have these breakpoints, they get a chance to rally them off. So that's a command check. So we have 2 dice. Each roll of 6 or more allows us to remove 1 breakpoint. So let's roll. I rolled a 7 and a 2. Again, a success here is a 6 or more. Since I rolled a 7, that means I get to remove this breakpoint. All right, that's going to be it for turn 1. Let's go on to turn 2. What I'm doing here, I'm going to have a dice way over here. I'm just going to have a dice set aside because again, our turn limit here is 5 turns. So I'm just going to put this little dice here. This is going to keep track of our turns. So after when this hits turn 6, the game, well, at the end of turn 5, I should say, this demo is going to be over. All right, let's go on to turn number 2. All right, we're going to start turn 2. I already have the orders issued. That's issuing orders face down is the first thing we do. That's the first phase of every turn is issuing the orders face down. Now we're going to go on to initiative. So I'm going to roll for the alliance over here. We have a 9 and an 8, so that's 2 successes. I'm going to roll for the Imperials. We have a 10 and a 4, that's only 1 success. So the alliance goes first this turn. We're just going to start with these speeders over here. And let's see how close we can get. All right, so they can get right up. So the tow cables that the speeders have, it's extremely short range. They have to be within 5 centimeters to use those tow cables. So they are just going to fly right up to these AT-ATs. All right. Okay. This is the reveal orders and movement phase. So if you haven't watched any of the other demos, basically what we're doing at this point within the reveal orders and movement phase is we're flipping an order token to activate a unit. If that order allows us to move the unit, then we move the unit at that point. There's no combat here. Now, there are some situations where there is a little bit of combat that takes place in here. Those are just basically special rules that allow us to do some things outside of the normal combat phase. Though for the most part, there's no actual combat during the reveal orders and movement phase. All right, so that is the speeders here. Now they're not actually stopping this AT-AT, so it's going to continue lumbering forward. So really the smart thing, that was really stupid of me just a moment ago. As the alliance player, I probably should have let the Imperials go first, so they would move the AT-AT up first, and then I would move the speeders around it. So what I just did there was really stupid in that I moved my speeders up, then the AT-AT player goes, and the AT-AT just kind of keeps lumbering forward. So he's basically lumbered out of range of the speeder. So not a very smart move on my part, but that's the story of my life. All right, so let's go back to the alliance. So what we're going to do here then is we're going to just activate some of their entrenched soldiers. That way we're kind of we're going to try to force some of the Imperials to move forward. So this ATST, he's not going to continue forward because, again, his really main objective here is to try to protect that AT-AT. So he's just going to kind of do an about face and try to deal with these speeders that are hanging out back here. All right, we'll activate these troopers. And again, they're all on first missiles, really, so they're not going anywhere. All right, let's lumber forward. Another activation for the troops, the alliance troops. He will move forward. Another first missiles. And he's basically going to stay, pretty close to this ATST. He's going to stay close to this AT-AT. There's no more rebel troops for me to activate, so I have to activate the speeders at this point. So again, we're going to get right up there. All right, and kind of the same thing here. So that was the little more intelligent way of handling that. All right, so that is it for reveal orders and movement. We're going to go on to combat now. All right, we'll start here with our speeders here. And let's see. He is within range of his tow cable. He is just out. He's obviously way too far. Hold on. You know what? I cut all the ranges in half. I forgot about that. Yeah, he's still just within range of the tow cable, just barely so. All right, so we have one of them that's going to try to use his tow cable against the AT-AT, and the other two are just going to fire their well, we're on first missiles, so I'm sorry. Let me back up a little bit. So these two, so all of their weapons are capable of firing on first missiles. So tow cable for one, and just light energy cannons for the other two. We'll go ahead and do the tow cable first. The speeders roll 3 dice, and the tow cable has a special ability in that it ignores armor for the AT-AT. So it's basically just trying to hit the AT-AT's base defense, which is it's only a 2, so it has an extremely easy time actually hitting them. Damaging them is difficult, though hitting them is, and actually because the tow cables aren't actually trying to penetrate the armor, they're just trying to basically attach. So I'm not really trying to defeat the armor in this circumstance. So I only need 2s. And there's a break point because I rolled a 10. And otherwise I get 3 successes. Now these AT-ATs are extremely difficult to bring down. If you remember from the movie, it's like, who was it? I think it was Luke who was whining about the armor's too tough for blasters. So we try to simulate that a little bit. So toughness, they have toughness. If you've watched some of the other videos, particularly some of the fantasy stuff, you may have heard about this toughness special ability. So what that does, it allows the unit to roll more casualty dice. So typically, a unit's going to only roll 2 dice when it does a casualty check. In this case, the AT-AT, since they have toughness, they're going to roll more dice. The more toughness you have, the more dice you roll. They are rolling 5 extra dice. That's a lot. Now, that's probably the most we have in the game. So they're rolling 7 dice for this casualty check. But the only ones that can actually cause a kill are the black ones here, your typical, your base casualty dice. Your toughness dice cannot actually result in a kill. And I'll explain that a bit more if we get to that. All right, so I rolled 3 successes, which means my casualty check number here is an 8. So I need one of these to be an 8 or more. Really slim chance that this AT-AT is going to fail this. I said all that, but we only had 1 dice that's an 8 or more. And that's one of the toughness dice. So you can see right away that the toughness dice paid off, because the rest of these, all 6 of these, are failures. We only had one of them that actually succeeded that time. So, all right, so that's the tow cable. We have 2 more that are going to shoot their light energy cannons. So they have 3 dice, and they're all going to be within long range. Yeah, I'm sure at some point during this I'm going to forget that I'm having all the ranges, or I'm having all the ranges. So I'll try to remember that best I can. All right, so at this range, they are at long range for the light energy cannons. They're rolling 4 dice. The AT-ATs have very difficult armor. It's a 12, but the light energy cannons reduce that down to a 7. So I need 7s. Only 2 successes out of that. So my casualty check number here is a 7. So I need one of these to be a 7 or more. And same thing again. We had 6 of them that failed. One of them passed with a 7 or more. So that AT-AT was close to actually taking some damage there. But he did pass. All right, we have one more. Well, actually, he may be out of range. Let me see. 15. Oh, no, he's within range. He's within range. So I need 7s. A little bit better. There's 3 successes that time, so I need an 8 on the casualty check. There's a there's a 10, and there's a 7. So he passed, so he's good. All right, so that is it for the snow speeders here. Anyone else? So again, we're on first missiles. This includes units that have independent weapon that can fire on first missiles. So that means that includes the little ATSTs that are running around, and they also have light energy cannons. So same thing. It's gonna be rolling 4 dice, and this ATST is just going to shoot at this snow speeder, and he may be he's going to be within short range actually, so he gets 2 more dice. And it may have been smarter from these snow speeders actually take a shot at this ATST and try to just maybe get him out of the picture. They would have had an easier chance of that. That would have been part of the smarter play there. But no one ever accused me of being all that smart. So again, the snow speeders are not all that well armored. They do have nice armor, but not as nice as some of the other ones on the table. So the excuse me, the ATST only needs a 6, and that's not a good roll. Only got 2 successes out of that. These snow speeders do not have toughness. Again, they're not really made to take a beating, so I'm only rolling 2 dice. I need a 7 on my casualty check. There's a 10, so he passed. All right, continuing with first missiles, we have the snow speeders right here. They are within short range. They're within tow cable range, and I actually shorted one of this one. When he did his tow cable, he should have actually had an extra dice. I kind of shorted him a dice. All right, so we'll do these 2. They're both using their tow cables against this AT-AT, so I need 4s. I'm sorry, yes. All right. Sorry, 2s rather. Sorry, 2s. They ignore all armor. So that's 4 successes. So my casualty check here is a 9, and there's a 10. So he passed it. There's the other snow speeder. It's 4 successes again. So another 9. And there's a 9 and 10. So he passed. Okay. This ATST will shoot at that snow speeder. He's going to be within short range. And you roll. And I need 6s. Now there's a 10, so that's an automatic break point. And I got 4 successes, so I need a 9 on my casualty check. And I passed with a 10. All right, let's go to these snow speeders. They're all just going to use their tow cables here against that AT-AT. So I need 2s. There's 4 successes, so I need a 9. There's 1 10, so he passed. The second snow speeder. That's 4 more successes, so I need a 9. There's a 10. And the last snow speeder. There's a 10, so there's a break point. So that's a break point on the AT-AT. I actually rolled 2 10s that time. The number of 10s doesn't matter, so rolling more 10s, like in this case I rolled 2 10s. That doesn't give him 2 break points, it's still only one break point. All right, and here's the casualty check. So, and there's several 10s in there, so he passed his casualty check that time. And then the ATST here will shoot at this snow speeder. There's 4 successes, so he needs a 9. And he failed. There's a 5. which is fine. It's just typically a 5 isn't a kill, it's just a breakpoint, but I do have a 1 here. So that's actually a kill. So one snow speeder from the blue squadron is gone out of the fight. All right. There's none with March. They can't fire with their first missiles because their arc is this way. They can't shoot behind. Let's go to second missiles. The medium energy cannons here. It's going to be well out of range. And let's see. Should be still well, still well out of range for the heavy energy cannons as well. Because all the snow speeders are really at this point. He's pretty close, but we'll say he's behind. The arc is basically here. That's their firing arc. I'll only do it here. Maybe you can see it better. This is their firing arc. So there's nothing within this firing arc for the AT-AT heavy energy cannon. So they're not shooting in the second missile phase. At the end of the turn, units that have breakpoints have a chance to rally them off. So we'll do their Imperials first, and we have 2 AT-ATs that have breakpoints. So he got a success there, so he gets rid of his. And we have 1 here. Yeah, he got 2 successes, so he gets rid of his. And we have a snow speeder that has 1. He got rid of his. So there we go. Now that's the end of turn 2. Now let's go on to turn 3. Starting turn 3, we have our orders issued. Let's get to initiative. A Rebel Alliance, 5 and a 1, so that is no successes. The Empire, we have an 8 and a 6, so that's 2 successes on their part. So the Empire will be going first. All right, let's activate our AT-AT here. Yeah, he just actually, you know what? He's going to start. Let's do this. He's going to start moving over that way because he's actually going to need to kind of get a better angle to get in range of that energy cannon. Alliance, we're going to flip these troops over here first. He's going to start moving over this way a bit as well. And the third AT-AT. He's almost right in line with that generator, so he's just going to go straight ahead. All right. So we know that the spears are going to move forward, try to keep pace with the AT-AT. So the ATST is really just going to kind of come back here. That way he can try to get his. Their goal is to protect the AT-ATs. Speeders, they're going to fly forward. I'm just going to move him back. And then that's all for the Imperials. So let me just do the last Alliance guy over there. All right, so now we're going to go on to combat. So first missiles. Empire is going first. So we have this ATST. He is going to shoot his light energy cannon at this snow speeder. He's in close range, so he's rolling 5 dice, and he only needs 6s to hit. There's a 10, so that's a break point, and that's 4 successes otherwise. So my casualty check number here is a 9. I failed with 2 8s. So it's not a kill, but it is another break point. If you fail a casualty check, if it's not a kill, then it's a break point. And the break point here, I mean, I'm kind of putting them by this snow speeder, but it really belongs to all of them. So it's break points aren't per, say, individual base. They are per unit. All right, he's done. Let's do the snow speeders over here. So I'm going to do something a little bit different. This snow speeder he's going to try to take out this ATST. So he's going to use his light energy cannon against that ATST. All right, so he's going to be at short range also. So he's rolling 5 dice. The ATST has a little, well, the armor is not quite as good. So I only need 4s here. Now there is a critical on the ATST, and I got 4 successes that time. That's going to make the casualty check number a 9. The ATST does have toughness of 1, so he's rolling 1 extra dice. And again, I need a 9. And that's a failure. So let's kind of dissect this failure a little bit here, because this is kind of a good example of, whoops, that was a 4. So I rolled a 1, a 4, and a 7. I rolled a 1 on the toughness dice. So normally, if I had rolled that 1 on one of the regular casualty dice, that ATST would be he'd be dead. He'd be off the board. But since that 1 is on the toughness dice, we don't count that. You're not going to get penalized for the toughness dice. So at that point, all we're really evaluating are the regular toughness dice. They are both failures, but the kill number for the energy cannon, this light energy cannon, is a 3. None of those is a 3 or less. So it's just another break point for that ATST. So I mean, we did a little bit of damage to the ATST. Didn't knock it out like we were hoping to. The other two speeders are going to go ahead and use their tow cables against the AT-AT. Only need 2s. There's a critical. That's a break point. And let me get this load of toughness dice. It's 4 successes. He needs a 9. 9, 9, 9. There's 1 9. So he passed it. The other speeder, it's 4 more successes. So again, I need a 9. And there's a 10. So he passed it. So they're passing their casualty checks, but just barely so. All right, let's go over here. This ATST is going to shoot at this speeder. And let's see. I need 6s, so that's going to be 3 successes. So I need an 8 on the casualty check here. Well, that's a bad roll. Roll 2 1s. So again, failed the casualty check, and that is a kill because I rolled less than or equal to the kill number. So he is gone. So the Alliance is definitely not doing well. Their snow speeders are getting pretty well annihilated here. So there's 1 speeder left here with this tow cable. Maybe he'll get a lucky shot. There's a critical. That's a good start. And that's 4 successes, so I need a 9 on the casualty check. Yep, there's a 10, so he passed his casualty check. Let's go over here. Our ATST here will take a shot at this snow speeder. Yeah, I need 6s. There's 4 successes, so I need a 9. And once again, I failed with the kill number. I rolled there's a 1, so it's another snow speeder blown out of the sky. There is 1 left that will use his tow cable against the AT-AT. There's 4 successes. So he needs a 9 on his casualty check. And there's a couple 9s in there, so he passed. I'm going to pause real quick to explain something I should have explained a little bit earlier. I've talked about this in some of the other videos, but let me just kind of talk about it real quick. When we do World War II in sci-fi, we have some vehicles that are designated as simply, they're just designated as heavy. That just means we're trying to show that if a unit of clubmen or guys with spears are running up to one of these AT-ATs or even say a World War II era tank, Tiger or something, those spears aren't going to do anything. So this AT-AT it's designated as a heavy vehicle, which means that only weapons that are designated as heavy can actually damage it. So all the energy cannons we have here are capable of damaging it. If the troopers over here, however, their guns, they are not designated as heavy, so they actually cannot damage the AT-ATs. No matter how well you roll, if the weapon is not heavy, it cannot damage a unit that's designated as heavy. All right, sorry for that interlude. I should have explained that at the beginning. Just forgot to do so. All right, so that's it for really first missiles. March, there's none. Let's check these energy cannons are still going to be probably out of range. Yeah, still well out of range. They only have a range because I halved all the ranges of 25 centimeters. So I think by next turn that they'll be able to start shooting at the AT-ATs, and they'll have a little better chance of taking one of them down. All right, let's check second missiles then. So 35 centimeters, and the AT-ATs may actually be able to. He cannot. They're really gonna start targeting at this point. Yeah. So with his second missiles, he can go ahead and target that turret. So this AT-AT with his heavy energy cannon is going to go ahead and target that turret there. So the turrets have very little armor. The AT-AT, we're at long range, so I'll be rolling 4 dice, and I'm only going to need a 2. That heavy energy cannon just it really just does away with armor. All right, so I need 2s. That's a bad roll. There's 2 1s in there. So he only needs a 4 on his, a 7 on his casualty check. There's a 6 and a 1, so he failed the casualty check. I needed a 7, so he failed the casualty check, and I rolled equal to or lower than the weapon's kill number, so that turret is gone. All right. That's going to be it for second missiles. So let's go on to the end phase, and let's try to rally off some break points. We'll do the Imperials first. This AT-AT gets rid of his. So I don't see a good outcome here for the Alliance in this particular game. The ATST does not get rid of any of his, so there's a there's a chance that this ATST could be taken out the next turn. AT-AT here, he has 1, and he gets rid of his. Alliance, we have a Snowspeeder here, gets rid of 1. I'm sorry, the squadron has 2. They got rid of 1, and that is it. All right, let's go on to turn number 4. All right, picking up turn 4. Things look really bleak for the Alliance, they've lost four snow speeders, 1 turret. The Imperials have lost nothing at this point. And none of their 8 AT-ATs have breakpoints. So things are not looking good for the Alliance at all. All right, let's go ahead and roll initiative. Alliance 4-1. They can't even do well on initiative. The Imperials a 9 and a 5. So that's 1 success. So the Imperials will go first. They are getting giddy. They are closing in on their target. So he will plod forward. First missile's over here. He will plod forward. First missiles. And bet y'all can't guess what he's going to do. He's going to plod forward as well. First missiles there. This ATST again is just going to move back because his goal here, their goal is to protect the AT-ATs, which I think they've been doing a pretty decent job of doing. First missiles. And we're going to move back. I mean, he only has 1 AT-AT or one speeder to worry about at this point, so he's looking at getting off early today. All right, speeders. They'll do well. Or they're going to move forward here. One more ATST. He has decided, I'm going to go over here and help out. Maybe one more will have a better chance of taking down one of those AT-ATs. All right, that's it for reveal orders and movement. Let's go on to combat. So we're going to do first missiles. The ATST here, he's going to use his light energy cannon against that speeder that just ran right up on him. I only need 6s to hit. There's 3 successes. So the speeder here needs an 8 on the casualty check. And there's a 9, so he passed. Good job. Now we're going to go and activate the yellow or gold squadron here of speeders. They are all well within range of their tow cables, so we're going to do that against the AT-AT. Only need 2s. There's a 10, so that's a critical, but only got 3 successes out of that. So the AT-AT needs an 8 on the casualty check. There's a 10, so he passed. Second speeder. There's a couple more 10s. So that's another break point. And we have 4 successes overall, so I need a 9. And there's a 10, so he only passed. Only 1 dice out of all that was a success, but that's all you need. And the third speeder here, we have 4 successes. So again, I need a 9. Oh, well, one, I rolled too many dice because I can't count today. But he actually failed. He failed his casualty check. Only need one of these to be a 9. All the toughness dice failed. And both of these failed. Neither of them's a casualty, though, because the light energy cannon only has a kill number of 3. These are both 4, so it's just a break point. And I probably was rolling too many casualty dice when I was doing these 2 as well. I'm not going to go back and roll them, but I messed up on those, I'm sure. So he actually has 3 casualty dice there. So he's getting close to, at the very least, being stopped. All right, this ATST is now out of range. This one over here, he's going to go ahead and target that snow speeder. He's at long range though, so he's only rolling 4 dice. And only 1 success there. So the snow speeder needs a 6 on the casualty check. There's a 6 and a 10, so he passed. Let's go and do the orange here, or the red. I can't really tell what color that is. So the AT-AT has 3 break tokens. His presence is a 4. The way, so if he gets the 4 break tokens, he is restricted. He cannot advance any further. So there's a chance that he could hit that this turn. So let's see what happens. There's 4 successes. Make sure I have the right number of dice this time. So he needs a 9 on his casualty check. And, well, there's a 10 and a 9, so he passed. So did not quite get there. But that's really, when you're dealing with the AT-ATs, that's been the better strategy for us, is not so much just trying to outright kill them, because that's, I mean, the odds of doing that are just, they're low, really low. So really, it's just inflicting break tokens. Because again, you're not trying to, as the Alliance, you're not trying to blow up all the Imperial guys. You're just trying to slow them down. And we do that by inflicting these break tokens. All right, that's it for first. The energy cannons here. That's out of range. And he'll actually be within range. That's going to be out of range. And that's going to be out of range. The AT-AT here, he's going to use his heavy energy cannon on that turret way over there. So I'm rolling 4 dice. There's 4 successes, so he needs a 9. And he failed with a 6 and a 3, so that's also a kill. So we'll take that one off. And was he within range? He was within range, just barely so. So this turret here, we can finally do some shooting with the turrets. Now they have medium energy cannon, so he's going to roll 4 dice. And it's going to reduce the AT-AT's armor down to a 5. There's a 10, so that is a break point. So that's kind of what we're looking for. And 3 successes, so I need a 9 on the casualty check. And there's a 9, so he passed the casualty check. This AT-AT. Is that? Yep. He's within range of this turret, so he's going to shoot at that turret. There's a break point, and we have 3 successes, so I need an 8. Again, I failed with a 7 and a 1, so that's again another blown up turret. And I think the rest of them will be out of range. Yeah. The rest of the turrets, I should say. Double check him. Yeah, he's out of range. However, this AT-AT can shoot at that turret over there. So take a shot. It's 4 successes, so a 9. And there's a 4 and a 2. So that is another blown up turret. All right, that's it for combat. Let's go on to the in turn. Let's try to rally off some breakpoints. The Alliance, the only one they have are the snow speeders here. They have 1, which they did not remove with a 3 and a 1. This ATST has 2. Got rid of one of them. All right, so this AT-AT here, this AT-AT has 4 tokens. So it's at its presence. So what that means is if it doesn't remove any of these tokens, then the AT-AT cannot advance the next turn. It can shoot, but it cannot actually move forward. It needs to get rid of at least one of these. And it does. There's a 3 and a 9. So it got rid of 1 breakpoint. That's all it needed. All right, that is it for turn 4. We're going to go to turn 5. All right, we are in the last turn. We have our orders issued. Let's roll initiative. Alliance, 6 and a 4. The Imperials, a 6 and a 1. So they both have 1 success. The Alliance does have a higher individual roll there. So they both of them rolled 6s for their first highest die rolls a 6. So in the case of a tie, we just kind of evaluate individual rolls. They each rolled a 6 as their highest, which is also a tie. The next highest is a 4 for the Alliance and a 1 for the Imperials. So the Alliance wins the initiative this turn, so they go first. All right, first missiles here. The AT-ATs are going to continue moving forward. Okay, I knocked down. No, did I knock down? I did not knock down anybody. Okay. But he did lose his break token. That's what I heard rumbling around there. First missile's there. So the troopers here in the trenches, they're not going to be able to do much this game if the AT-ATs had been forced, or if they had disembarked, or any of their troops, then you would have seen some individual firefights going on between individual troopers. First missiles. He's going to move forward, and that's going to put him within range of the power generator. First missile's there. This ATST again is going to move back. He just wants to protect the AT-AT. Going to move forward. He is going to move over here to get some assistance, because there's just a lot of speeders over here, and he has nothing to really deal with over there. He's going to move up here because he still has 1 speeder to deal with. Tow cable. And that is it for reveal, orders, and movement. Let's go on to combat. First missiles, Alliance. We're going to go and do the tow cable there. Really, well, the tow cable actually, it can't cause a kill. So his real only shot at this point is just try to hope we get a lucky shot with his light energy cannons. That's what we're going to do. 5 dice at this range, and he's going to need 7s to hit. And there's only 2 successes out of all that, so that's not good. So the casualty check number here is a 7. He passed, so that is it for that speeder. The ATST is going to shoot at the snow speeder. There's a break point. And we have 2 successes. I'm sorry, 3 successes. There's a 10, so he passes casualty check. Gold squad here with their tow cables. There's 4 successes, so a 9. Passed. The second snow speeder is 4 more successes. So again, I need a 9. There's a 9, so he passed. And the third snow speeder, there's 4 more successes, so another 9. And again, another 9 and 10. So these AT-ATs are just extremely difficult to bring down. ATST here, we'll shoot at that snow speeder. There's 4 successes. There's a 10, so he passed. And let's see, this snow speeder, we'll use his tow cables. This is the red squad. There's 3 successes, so we need an 8 on the casualty check. There's a 10, so he passed. So this ATST, he's going to be at long range. We'll shoot at that snow speeder. There's a critical and 3 successes, so I need an 8. There's an 8 and a 9. Passed. Now they can pass. See, now that we're in the last turn, now they're all passing their casualty checks. The first turn or two, they were just getting blown up left and right. Of course, now that it almost doesn't matter, they decide to start doing well. That's going to be it for, not going to be it for first missiles. Let me double check I think they're all going to be well out of range still. Well, not well out of range, but out of range, 15. But they can't hurt them anyway. Their little rifles are useless against the AT-ATs. Now the AT-ATs, though, with their light energy cannons, they have light energy cannons also. They're out of range though. Yeah, just barely so. Yeah, just barely out with their light energy cannons. All right, let's go on to second missiles. There's no turrets over here that can shoot at that guy and hopefully get a lucky shot. So we'll do this one. He's going to shoot energy cannon at that AT-AT right there. I need 5s. There's a critical. And we have 2 successes, so I need a 7 on the casualty check. And there's a 7, so he passed that. Second missiles for the Imperials. So you can go ahead and use his heavy energy cannon. I barely just got that measured out correctly, so for once I did math correctly. So the heavy energy cannon on this AT-AT is going to take a shot at the power generator. So only need 2s. It's not we didn't make it very well armored or anything. There's 4 successes, 9, and it failed with a 5 and a 7. So and just the way we have this scenario written out, it doesn't take breakpoints. It just, if it fails a casualty check, it gets blown up. So so the power generator did get blown up. We ran this scenario a few times, and this one kind of didn't quite turn out the way the others did. We had larger boards and more figures on the table. This time we didn't actually take down any of the AT-ATs. This one is close. So he has 4 break tokens. Let's just kind of play it out a little bit. Let's just see. So we'll kind of go to the end turn here, just to kind of play it through. So he has 4. He's going to try to rally some of those off. He does. So he got rid of 1. Again, if he had not rallied one of those off, then he would have been prohibited from moving forward on the next turn. So that's really going to be it for the demo then. We saw So we haven't ran one of these yet where the Imperials, didn't win, though it has basically played out until the very last turn. That's just kind of how we have it measured out. We really, the Imperials only have one turn and 1 or 2 shots, and he's going to be out of range. This AT-AT, yeah. So he's a few centimeters out of range. I probably should have started moving him that direction a little bit sooner than what I did. So basically, if this AT-AT wouldn't have successfully hit that generator, then the Alliance would have won this particular game, because we are on turn 5, and that's the turn limit for this game. So took a little bit of luck there for the Imperials, just because I didn't really start moving them before the way I should have, and probably also should have moved more speeders over here to handle him, since he was the more viable threat. Probably should have moved more speeders over there. A little bit of bad luck for the Alliance, though, in that they saw, I think the first 2 turns, they saw 4 speeders, 3 or 4 speeders. So basically a third of their force get taken out of the battle. So that was a little bad luck on their part. Well, so I hope you enjoyed the demo. Kind of wanted to show off some of the designs that we're going through for our sci-fi supplement for Ages of Conflict. So sci-fi and World War II are stretch goals for our Kickstarter, which is currently underway. The stretch goal for World War II is the funding level is 4,000. Sci-fi is 6,000. So a little bit. We still have quite a ways to go to hit sci-fi. So if this is something that you're interested in, if you're interested in the concept of one rule set to help you fight just about any genre. I mean, again, the core book is going to cover historical, which is really covering everything from ancients up to black powder. The core book also contains fantasy. So a wide range of armies. Then we have the stretch goals for World War II and sci-fi. Also, we're still kind of tinkering around with some of the World War II and sci-fi. So if there are any suggestions you have, any comments, please let us know in the comments below. We also have a Facebook group that I'll put a link to that at the end of the video, and you're welcome to join up and give us your thoughts. Let us know how you would like this game to go. All right, thanks everyone.